Hello, and welcome to Always with Awareness. I'm Awa and Doug.
And I'm Douglas Lodmell. And today we want to talk about AI and kind of the future and the way that we're seeing this come about and the conversations we're having around it. So let me just frame it this way.
Okay.
AI is getting incredibly good, and we're still at the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
So if you are living under a rock or up in a mountain in a cave or something and you don't know what's happened is that artificial intelligence has finally come of age, and it is now
knocking at our doors.
It is knocking at our doors hard. So I run a business, and I can already see the implications in my business. It's a knowledge business. As an attorney, it's knowledge that you're dealing in, and AI is getting incredibly good. It's certainly not yet good enough to replace the humans, but man, will it be soon.
That's right.
So 5 years at the most.
That's right.
So what does this mean for the humans as we start losing our jobs, as AI starts coming in and being able to do things better than us, not just as good,
That's right.
better.
Yeah.
So imagine an AI CPA that never misses a deduction, never misses a section of code, never misses something that could save you money, absolutely always catches it, because your CPA is relying on the data that you give them and their knowledge, and whether they took the continuing education and they caught the last revision in the code with the regulations that came out. Humans are fallible.
That's right.
AI will do a much better job at things like that.
Yeah.
It'll do a better job at all knowledge work, from lawyer, diagnosing. The medical profession is in for a massive restructuring with AI being able to diagnose better than doctors. It's already doing it for radiology. It's already doing it for x-rays. So AI reads x-rays at least as well or better than the humans.
Yeah.
Together, a human and an AI read better than either one alone. So for now. But the AI is getting better and better. So pretty soon you won't need the human part at all.
Yeah.
And so what does this mean for us? Like where are we going, and what's going to become valuable for humans that AI is not able to do?
Well, at the same time, it's scary because you're going like, where are we going? When you think about losing jobs, you're like, wow, how are we going to live? But at the same time, there is something very inspiring because it's giving room for humanity to really think what's most important for us. It's going to make us prioritize.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't know what you think about it, but I like that humans start to think for themselves, because the thinking will be taken care of AI for the things that we need intellectually.
Right.
But we are not just an intellect. There is a different form here. We are spiritual beings having a life here that we need to design for ourselves. What does it look like? For me personally, I think people will really think what's important to me. Is it my intellect in that form? Then forget it. AI will be better.
Right.
My emotions, really, work needs to be done. My spirituality, which means the one thing we share. Right? So I think it's going to just bring us to this oneness that we all can talk about, but having a hard time seeing in the practical day-to-day what it looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if you think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, most people are familiar with this. The basic needs are for safety and security at the bottom of the pyramid. It's like a pyramid. And then you go up to meaning and belonging and at the top is self-actualization. They kind of made it as this almost like enlightenment.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that if the intellectual needs are basically going to be taken care of through AI, I'm not going to need to spend 4 hours today reading a IRS regulations because something changed, or attending a class, because AI literally has already done it for me, and I can just ask AI and AI is going to give me a very reliable answer.
That's right.
What do I spend those 4 hours doing today?
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you for me, I think that my job as an attorney will change in that I will have less research time needed.
Yes.
I will not need to spend as much time staying up and current on techniques and strategies and law, but that's not what I mainly do.
Yeah.
My real job is talking with people, is
Yeah.
connecting with people.
That's right.
So I would say 90% of my days are working on the phone with my clients or in person, talking with them,
Yeah.
strategizing, thinking through. And many of the times it is not just legal work. It is thinking through their entire life strategy, thinking through, my daughter's about to go to college and I
Yeah.
have these questions, and
That's right.
I need somebody who I can
Relate.
trust, who's not vested, that I can ask things to, and who I've built a relationship with. So I don't see that changing. I don't see my clients just all of a sudden going, "Oh no, I don't need to talk to Doug. AI's got it." I talk to AI.
Yeah, right?
I could be wrong. Maybe AI gets that good to where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I could just talk to AI. But I don't think so. I think we're still going to want each other.
Each other's experience, each
Yeah.
other's life. And I don't think AI is coming to replace that. It's not possible. That human touch, that mirror of seeing somebody like you in the human form. And I don't think they want to replace that.
No.
They might not know where they're going with this, but I think it's their goal, right? But one thing for sure is like moving forward one step to go two step backwards. At the same time, it's looking like a forward motion, but at the same time, it feels like it's going to be a two step backwards to who we really are, like how we need each other, how we want to be with each other.
Yeah.
I hope and pray that all these big malls will be replaced with activities where our kids will play together. When you're looking at this world with all the money we have, with all the structures we put together, it is not well thought for a community living. Absolutely not.
Poorly thought. It's very individualistic. Everything is still you in your car, driving to you and your experience in the mall,
Exactly.
driving to your personal experience of everything. We don't live in community.
It's designed for capitalism of buy and buy more and more garbage and more buying. But I think this AI thing, at least I pray for it, that is going to make us really think of, as humans, how interaction is amazing and important. Being touched, moved, and inspired by another human, not a robot. So I think this infrastructure is gonna is gonna be designed. They're gonna take time to design it now for human development. What we really need, how we gonna be better at growing together. These kids are not gonna be lonely anymore. Mental illness is going to be healed by detecting where is the problem, but mostly people will learn to trust each other. I think most of our problem is this gap that we have created for ourselves. Separation. And that separation can only live in the intellect. So once we figure how anybody can just Google and have the right answer, that gap is going to be close.
Well, and we were listening to Ray Kurzweil. If you don't know who Ray Kurzweil is, he's a futurist who been working on AI for 50 years, predicted when what he calls the singularity is going to happen, which is basically the point at which AI becomes as smart as a human.
That's right.
And for him, it's 2029, and he predicted that number years and years ago. His colleagues, they did a Stanford study. They all agreed it was going to happen, but they thought it was 100 years away. They revisited that study. They all now have revised down to his number. So some of them are even sooner, like 2 years.
Yeah.
So everybody's now in agreement that he was right and that AI is going to be as smart as us. It doesn't make it us. It's not us.
Yeah.
But it's going to make things that we do redundant. So I will not need to spend hours and hours a year studying things that I need to process in my brain so that I can feed that advice back to clients in the same way. AI will be doing a lot of that work for me so that when I get a very complicated client question, I can just ask AI. I already do it. I already ask ChatGPT just to check, and I see it, and I'm constantly using it almost every day now. If nothing else, I want to see where it's at with respect to where I can gauge its progress. I want to be using it a lot because I want to see its improvement.
Yeah.
And it's improving daily. I mean, it's getting better. I'm asking questions and it's getting the answers. I would say 85% of the time it's getting a good answer, a usable answer. Pretty soon it's going to be 99.9, which is better than a human, right?
That's right.
Again, if we listen to Ray Kurzweil, he believes that this is going to be accessible to us without going to Google or our device.
Like a chip in our heads?
No, the nanobots. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nanobots that we will integrate into our brains.
Yeah.
And so we will not actually need to Google anything. We'll just have instant access to this knowledge.
Yeah.
So we are going to, in his mind, become symbiotic type AI entities. So if you think about it, you don't need to go to Harvard to get the knowledge.
Yeah.
You just can implant the Harvard times 1 million processing power straight to your brain. We are definitely going to need to figure out what it means to be human when we're all walking around with more intellect and more knowledge than anybody today possesses.
Well, if it's all at once, it's just like having the phones, right? In the beginning, phones were very expensive. You had to be rich to have a phone.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle of the hole in Timbuktu, everybody has a phone.
Everybody has a phone.
Exactly.
Everywhere in the world.
I know. So if AI becomes like that, I'm all for it. Mm-hmm. Right? In the beginning, I'm sure it's few or it's going to be expensive, which I don't believe so because ChatGPT is reachable in every phone, right? But once done and out of the way, what are we going to do?
Right. So what are we going to do?
Right.
So if we look at people who already have this level of time on their hands, so these are people that have no issues with making money. They don't need to make money to live because they either have it already somehow handled, whether they're a trust fund or whether they retired early and sold their company or whatever they did, right? Or maybe they just dialed their lifestyle down so low that they just don't need more than they already have through Social Security or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. However you get there, there are people living today that are not spending most of their time in an effort to gain resources to continue to live. So most people are spending most of their time, meaning they have to work in order to pay the rent, buy the food, etc. So most of the world is spending most of their energy on working to live, surviving, and a little bit of their energy on entertainment or rest, relaxation, and personal activities.
Yes.
Some of the world today already has virtually no need to spend any of their time working because they have enough. And so what do? We can see they either, well, they probably do a lot of things, but I'm going to just point out a couple of them. They either go heavily into the entertainment and self-gratification world, which usually leads them off the rails because they're just constantly looking for more and more self-gratification, or they go into the meaning phase of their lives. They're looking for meaning, and so they spend their time with their own personal development.
Yeah, well, let's hope that there is more spending their times in that than the first one.
Well,
right?
I think they're gonna marry, actually.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen, or I believe that this is a very good thing that would happen, is that the entertainment will be the personal development.
Yeah.
We're gonna start developing the games that we need, the entertainment that actually brings us up a level. And again, I've said this before, I think social media is fantastic for this. You look on social media, you can spend hours and hours looking at cats and dogs and whatever, unicorns, and just entertainment, just silly entertainment. You can spend hours and hours going down rabbit holes of conspiracy theories, or you can spend hours and hours listening to self-help, listening to people that are telling you, hey, if you want to get over depression, if you want to get over your anxiety, if you want to lose weight, if you want to better your physical health, it's all there. It's just up to you. the fact that it's all there is the good sign for me. It's telling me that there is a market for the, I want to be better.
That's right.
And when you see somebody who's better, you can be inspired by that.
That's right. So the question to ask, would say, is, are you ready? Are you preparing yourself? I think it will take a preparation to get people ready for this AI life that is coming, right? It's like when computer was starting, most people said, not for me. I think if they had prepared us enough, inspire people enough, that they will start already designing their life, being inspired by it, and designing their life to meet technology.
Right.
But I don't see that being a focus for these people that are, and like maybe it's not for them, it's just like a doctor who's a surgeon, my doctor who did my foot. I'm like, after surgery, what do I do? What's the therapy that needs to be done? He's like, I'm just a doctor that fixed the inside.
Yeah, I'm the inside body work. I'm not the outside.
Exactly, I'm not the outside.
What about the scar? And he's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
That's not me.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that is scary, is not knowing how to prepare for a future like that.
It is scary. It is scary. And it's scaring a lot of people right now because we know that these jobs are going away. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
This is not a question. As an employer and as an attorney who works with mostly employers, mostly people who run businesses, I can tell you, if an employer can eliminate a human, they will do it.
Yeah.
Because humans come with a lot more challenges than a system or a piece of software or technology. And so the ideal is to have a company that, is a Fortune 100 company that runs with 10 people. I mean, that's what everybody wants to get. That's why software companies are so valuable, is that they can run with fewer people than, a manufacturing company, which needs all these people. Although that's changed with robotics, right? So Tesla uses far fewer people to manufacture a car than GM did 50 years ago. It was all by hand, right? So everything is changing. So if you think that, oh no, the jobs will still be there, it's not true. The jobs will not be there. The question is, what will be there?
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about how we're going to live. That's a whole nother discussion of how we're going to actually financially make it. I'm just talking about personally in your head, what is it that you want to be preparing yourself for in this world in which you aren't working? And I think COVID was a little preview of that.
That's right.
We all kind of got a break. Like people got a break. And let me tell you, the appetite was massive for that time off.
That's right.
People did not want to go back to work. They went back to work under duress. They were not like raring to go to get back to work. They're like, if the money will keep coming, I'll be happily staying home.
Yes.
So that tells you that work is not something that people are seeing as the highest end of their life, their goal.
That's right. Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, however, those of us who love our work don't see it as a labor either, right?
That's
We
right.
see it as part of our growth and development. And
Yes.
so I guess for me, my work is my growth. My clients challenge me. My employees challenge me. The circumstances around the environment of work challenges me. The government challenges me. I am challenged, and those challenges allow me to grow.
That's right.
Into them. To be unchallenged is a very unsatisfying way to live.
That's right. And that's what I meant by say, thank God. I mean, if you are not fit for your work and you're not happy and you just only find out during COVID that was a drag for you, and you finally ask yourself what is the right thing to do, and you decided, wow, I'm better at home and taking my time and doing things differently. So I'm saying bravo, right? Yeah. But for the rest of us that also love their job and was dying to go back because that's a fulfillment for them and it doesn't feel like a drag, I'm saying welcome back.
Right.
Right? But again, back to this future that is coming at us very fast in a very fast speed.
Very fast.
Is coming, and it's going to change everybody way of thinking, right? And when I say everybody way of thinking, it's like you are going to prioritize finally and be the designer of your life.
Well, you're going to have to. If someone comes along tomorrow and says, hey, your job is gone, you're not going to find another one because everybody's in the same position. And so, but we're going to give you money to live. Here's your money. What do you want to do with your life? And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. But I'm saying it behooves you to think about it, at least in those terms. You can think about it just to say, okay, well, if I didn't have to work and I could continue to maintain basically my lifestyle, what would I do with my day? Would I just become a streaming, or TikToking, mindless, numbing thing, or what would I want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, I hope in the designing of what that world looks like, there will be a lot of places, spaces that people can gather and do beautiful things together, which I think is really missing. And when I say that, I'm talking about these kids. And it's just like 224. And with, like I said, all the money we have, how far we went, there is nothing designed. And hopefully we're going to bring back nature, and people will be more grounded. Animals will be back into our life, our daily lives. I say that because I see a little kid recently that wanted to ride horses so bad and couldn't go anywhere. And you see the way we design life is just a ladder. To just see a piece of dirt is far-fetched.
Some people don't ever get to see a big chunk of desert or dirt or mountain or trees, or have the risk of getting a tick, or
I know,
catching a fish in a mountain lake. I mean, a lot of people have no way to relate to that.
No way to relate to that. We living in a very sterile, clean life and detached from nature. So I pray that in the design of the future, that we will be more inclusive to Mother Nature and each other, as simple as that. I hope that will be part of the design. And the other thing is to prepare us in a way where it doesn't go for most of us. And like computer did, a lot of people missed the boat for a long time. And next thing you know, you're outdated.
So, the main point of this particular episode is to, one, make you aware that AI is coming quickly.
That's right.
Quickly. And we're not talking 30 years. We're talking 5, 10 to massive, massive shift in our society in a way that none of us can really quite imagine yet. Even the people that are talking about it and working on it, they're saying, the Ray Kurzweils and the Peter Diamanduses, they're saying, we can't even imagine it. We know it's coming, but we don't even know how it's going to change.
That's right.
So that's number one, is just put it in your head and let that bounce around a little bit and see how that feels. 2, ask yourself the question, well, what would I do if I didn't have to work, or if I didn't have to work as much? What would I want to do with my days? And figure out what that answer is that would provide fulfillment. And my recommendation would be focus less on the entertainment aspect of what I would do with my day and more on the developmental aspect. How can I develop into a more joyful, happy experience of this life? Which means we're going to have to kind of disconnect our identities from our jobs, from the things that we might have defined ourselves in the past, our intellects. A lot of us have identified around the fact that we spent so much time in our life developing this intellect that we can quote chapter and verse on something, whether it's an auto repair manual, the tax code, or the Bible, it doesn't matter. You value it, but that itself is going to have less value. We're going to be challenged to go, wow, who am I if I am not those things that I used to identify with? I don't have the answer to all these questions. I just know that the process that we're going through of paying attention to it and preparing ourselves mentally that it's coming has already been valuable to us.
That's right.
It's changed our life.
Yeah.
Like, we're making choices about how we want to live where we want to live, how we want to organize our life, what we see as valuable, how we want to look at the future of our business, all of it. It's all being impacted right now.
Yeah, we have to. We have to. And I mean, harder for the people that are like you out there working in the world, having a business. It's just like, wow. When I think about my kids, like tomorrow, they barely starting life, barely starting to have a job. I mean, you can't even think about not having a job anymore.
Yeah.
Right? But it's coming. You know, you just have to look at, like you mentioned earlier, COVID. Since COVID, there is no mingling anymore. Everything is online. If you find a man, you have to go with this group. It's just for us. I mean, I have a hard time believing that that's where we at.
Already.
Right.
We're already in a digital world where most people spend their time socializing from their home.
That's right.
On a device.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, parties, they're not having parties where they're meeting anymore. There's just this humanness and contact is over. Everything is online. Now, if I even tell anybody, oh yeah, let me give you my daughter's number. It's like, do you have her Instagram?
Yeah,
like,
I don't want her number. I don't need her number. I don't need your number either. Just
Exactly.
Instagram is fine.
You know, Instagram is fine.
Yeah.
But that's why I said we really have to prepare ourselves mentally, emotionally with what's coming and really prepare who I will be and what would I do, like you said, with my days.
Yeah. So
You know?
think about that.
Yeah.
And comment to us. Tell us what you do.
Yeah.
I'd like to know. You know, we'd like to know what you see, because it's coming.
Yeah.
Coming quick.
And if you're afraid, I think it's normal. You are just like most of us. Doesn't mean that we need to freak out. You know, like I said, it's not something we can stop. But I do personally believe that there is something amazing waiting for us to discover.
I do too. I'm excited about this transformation. I'm not. I mean, there's trepidation. There's a little bit of, like, wow. I hope. How is this going to affect me? As I think anybody who looks at this would have. But at the same time, I'm mostly just excited because I see the opportunities. And I know that more free time does equal the ability, like Maslow discovered, to focus on that self-realization, to focus on those higher levels of connection with each other and with ourselves and our own spirituality and our own connection to the infinite. I mean, that to me is the purpose of life, that connection to the infinite, to the divine. And so, give me more time to do that, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? And give me more people to do that with, give me more relationship to do that with, I'm okay with that too. And if we all have more time and we all have more impetus to go that direction because we have less need to be at work, less need to study and become intellectual because we have access to these things, then I think that ultimately, as bumpy as the road might be, which I'm sure it will be, ultimately, though, I think it's a very good thing.
I think so, too. Yeah. Now, there is also this idea that we could live up to 150 with all our cells rejuvenated and no more disease. How do you feel about that?
Well, that also is coming from the Ray Kurzweils and the Peter Diamantises and the futurists who are looking at this and saying that technology, part of this, the singularity is that right now our life expectancy at the very bleeding edge of technology is improving by about 4 months per year. So every year you're gaining back 4 months of life. Kurzweil estimates that by 2040, that life expectancy will increase by 12 months for every year.
Every year you get a year.
Every year you get a year, which means now you've hit the point. And then after that, it'll actually start going backward. Every year you're going to get 2 years. What this means is that if you have nanobots that are integrated into your bloodstream, you have stem cell and you can regrow your organs. If you get pancreatic cancer, it doesn't kill you anymore. We just regrow it, go in there, nanobots take care of the cancer, fix what's happening. all these things, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, all these things. Imagine if they were all pretty much fixed. Cancer gone. And now we really have this capacity to live these very long lives. We turn off the aging process. We turn off the trigger that signals our body's cells to age. And so now we are living 150, 200, 300 years. Some of the numbers that these guys have put out there are stunning, like 700 years, they think.
Scary.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I don't know the answer to how I feel about that, honestly. I do know that I watched my own parents have a number in their head of when they thought they would die, and they exceeded that number. And I know that that was not good for them because they had run out of health by the time they got to their number. They had not taken care of their health in such a way that they were going to need it.
That's right.
They had run out of friends because same thing. They had not developed or bothered with enough friends to last an extra 20 years. And
That's
so their
right.
friends all died off and they didn't have younger friends.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough money. They also just kind of figured they would run out at the number they had. And both of their numbers were like in the 70s.
Wow.
Because for their generation, that was old.
Yeah.
My father lived to almost 90, my mother to 84. And really, I watched them struggle, particularly with the health. I mean, that was the number one thing.
Yeah.
They did not plan on living long enough, so they really kind of just disregarded their health. Say, I won't be around. And I heard my dad say it many, many times. The point of this story, the reason I'm bringing it up is you asked me how I feel about it. How I feel about it is that I'm going to plan to live to 150. If I don't make it, great, no problem. But if I make it, I don't want to run out of health, friends, or money.
That's right.
Or relationship. So we're planning together
That's
to
right.
live to those ages, to live far beyond our existing expected lifespan. And if we don't make it, it just means we have extra health, extra friends, and extra money.
That's right. Exactly.
I think that's okay.
Exactly. And and that's the point we're trying to make here, is that where we are going, if you do not prepare yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally, and I emphasize and emotionally, because people do not tell you how you hating this world or the people in this world or the causes in this world, and this justice that is not meeting you in this world can make you want to check out, even with all this technology being given to you.
100%.
I'm telling you right now, if you hate so much and if you unsettle, this is the time to heal yourself. This is the time to heal emotionally, physically, today more than ever. Because if this technology is coming, where you're going to live up to 150 with no disease, no nothing, the only thing I think that could kill you is you really deciding to get out because you can't love your neighbor. I mean, and that is sad because we see that. You and I have seen that.
For real.
For real. People checking out because they just can't stand.
How many people do you know, that when you talk about living past 100, their first reaction is, oh, not me.
Not me.
I don't want to
Absolutely.
do that.
Exactly.
Forget it.
Yes.
So they've already prepared themselves. Either their rationale is, I'm tired of this shitty place.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
I know.
I can't stand the politics anymore. I've watched somebody check out over politics.
I know.
Like, didn't even affect their life directly, but they were so wrapped up in it that they just couldn't stand what was happening to the point where they're like, I'm happy you're dead.
That's right.
And so that's not a way to live now.
Yeah.
You're not, that's suffering today.
Exactly. So watch that mind. You remember, this show is all about the mind. Watch that mind. You will be triggered just listening to this show and seeing all this technology coming and you seeing yourself not being part of it.
Yeah.
Really. Like, wow, I'm checking out. Well, that would be sad because you know what? I think it's the beautiful world.
And we need you.
And we
need
need
you here, joyful, alive, and participating with all of us. Because remember, one of our fundamental tenets is we don't do this alone. We can't do it without everybody. It takes all of us to win or nobody wins.
That's right.
So we need you to be joyful, happy, engaged, alive, and participating in this growth that we're all in, this classroom of life,
Yeah.
so that we can do this together and resolve the mystery together, and whatever that holds for us.
Exactly. So do your work. Do your work, because it's coming. You sure inspire me today, because it's so important to know that not only you doing it, but we doing it together. We have these talks all the time of what is your number, and more we pushing the number. Why? Because of the personal, emotional work that we do together. So if anybody failed to just tell you it takes preparation, we telling you it takes preparation.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself so that you can enjoy this new technology that is coming, that is taking the healthcare in a level that is right now we can't even imagine. No more cancer, no more low eyesight, hair is growing. I really do believe it's coming, but it needs for us to know and to prepare and to choose.
So my wife is going to stay this beautiful and sexy forever.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, it's for you.
I'm in.
All right.
Well, thank you for joining us. This was a great one. I appreciate this conversation. Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know how you feel about this. And we'll see you next time.
And share. All right.